Okay, we got some new Pokemon, a rare Pikachu returning, all with the crossover event for the Pokemon Horizons series. Pretty much just an event in collaboration to promote the Pokemon anime Pokemon Horizons second season, but it's in Pokemon Go. Anyway, let's get into it. So this event is going to be Wednesday, April 16th, 10 a.m. to Tuesday, April 22nd, 8 p.m. your local time. Bonuses during the event will be half egg incubator distance. Team Go Rocket balloons will be appearing more frequently, and there'll be an increased chance to encounter a shiny Captain's Hat Pikachu and a Floragato wearing a hat with Lico's pin. You can also take a snapshot of your Pokemon for a snapshot surprise with characters from the Pokemon Horizons anime alongside with their Pokemon. Well, the debut of course, that new costume Floragato wearing Lyco's pin, which can be shiny. So that'll be the exclusive costume for the event. And more importantly, we'll have Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, and Tinkaton all making their debut into Pokemon Go during the event. Event spawns are going to be Quagsire, Shuckle, Slugma, Nosepass, Snorunt, Sprigatito, Floragato wearing Lyco's pin, Fuecoco, Quaxly, Pawmi, and rare spawns for Captain Hat Pikachu. Additionally, all Captain's Hat Pikachus you catch will know the legacy move Volt Tackle. We'll have exclusive 7-kilometer eggs during the event, which are technically 3.5 during this event, and those can hatch Elekid, Hatena, Charcadet, and Tinkatink. Once this event does end, by the way, Tinkatink will get moved into the 10-kilometer egg pool, so that's how you'll get it after this event if you're watching this after. We'll have exclusive event field research tasks to get you Great Balls, Pineapple Berries, Stardust, and encounters event themed Pokemon. We'll have an exclusive collection challenge focused around catching Pokemon, which can get you XP, Stardust, and encounters event themed Pokemon. We'll have a ticketed timed research you can go ahead and buy, but you must complete it before the event ends or it'll disappear. It's going to cost you $4.99 USD, and it will get you a egg incubator, an event themed avatar pose, the Ban Hammer emote, an encounter with Tinkatink, and more. If you purchase this through the web shop, by the way, you will get the research, but you'll also get 10 Ultra Balls for free. So buy it through the web shop. Quick tip for you. Also, anytime you do buy things in the in-game store or the web store, you can get points towards the new reward system that can get you free premium items for buying things. So technically not free, but technically free. Nonetheless, let's get into it. Is Tinkaton any good in Pokemon Go? Well, Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, and Tinkaton are all Steel and Fairy type Pokemon similar to Mawile, which can evolve up for 25 candies and then 100 into the final Tinkaton form. Tinkaton is going to have an attack of 155, stamina of 198, defense of 196 with a max CP of 50 of 2,544. For fast moves, it can learn Fairy Wind and Rock Smash, and for charge moves, Play Rough, Flash Cannon, Heavy Slam, and Bulldoze. As far as raids go, Tinkaton not going to be very good, doesn't have a high attack stat or a high max CP, but in PvP, this thing would have been amazing. Tinkaton just actually lost the move Brutal Swing, which would have helped it a lot in a lot of its matchups. However, they replaced it with Bulldoze, which is significantly less useful. It does have a lot of resistances, with 10 resistances and only 2 weaknesses, so it can still be good in some limited cups with Fairy Wind, Play Rough, and Heavy Slam, but overall, not the most amazing. If we're to compare Tinkaton to the other 5 Pokemon that share the Fairy Steel typing, it will be kind of on par with a Pokemon Mawile. It will be better than Shadow Mawile, and it'll be better than Klefki. So overall, a very good Steel and Fairy type Pokemon. So I would grab one, get it for the Dex, but it did get nerfed, so we might have to wait for a future Calm Day for Tinkatink, which could give this Pokemon the move Gigaton Hammer, which will make it a lot better. Also, this Pokemon is in 7-kilometer egg, so it's kind of hard to get, so you could probably just hold off on getting it and wait till it drops more availably through the wild. Speaking of wild, what are the best wild spawns? We have Quagsire, which is a stage 1 Pokemon, so every time you catch it, you can get 300 Stardust and a guaranteed XL candy. Really good for that. Quagsire is also going to be ranked 50 in the Great League, and you can grind the Wooper candies to power up your Clodsires, which Clodsire is very good. So if you need Wooper candies, catch your Clodsires. Snorunt's in the wild, which can evolve into Glalie. Glalie does have a Mega Form in Pokemon Go, which is the number 8 Ice type attacker in Pokemon Go. You can also evolve your Snowrunts into Frostlasses, only if it's a female Snorunt, which is number 94 in the Open Great League and good in limited Great League cups like the Halloween Cup. Sprigatito's in there, which you can evolve all the way up into Meowscarada. Meowscarada is the number 12 grass type attacker in Pokemon Go with Frenzy Plant, and you can go ahead and hold on to your Sprigatito's until December Community Day, when we will have another opportunity to evolve into Meowscarada and get Frenzy Plant. Fuecoco is spawning, which can evolve into Skeledirge, ranked 128 in the Open Great League and ranked 25 in the Open Ultra League. So very good PvP Pokemon right there. You have Quaxly in there, which doesn't have a shiny yet, but we have seen the other 2 Gen 9 starters get Calm Days. So if you do get a good IV Quaxly, hold on to it because you will be able to evolve that all the way up into Quagsquaval to get Hydro Cannon. Quagsquaval with Hydro Cannon will be the number 9 water type attacker in Pokemon Go. And if it does end up getting Aqua Step added to its move pool, another move it can learn, it could make this Pokemon a bit better for PvP. So grab and hold on to your Quaxleys because this Calm Day is coming soon. Now, we do have increased chance of finding Team Go Rocket balloons. Generally, this means every 2 to 3 hours. This is very useful for anyone who's trying to go from level 44 to 45, where you have to defeat 100 Team Go Rocket Grunts and defeat 50 leaders. But specifically, what balloons and sentences should you be looking out for the best Shadow Pokemon to hunt during this event? First of all, Don't Tangle With Us is the Grass Grunt, which can get you a Shadow Hoppip, evolving to Shadow Jumpluff, rank 24 in the Open Great League. Fire Grunt that says, do you know how hot Pokemon with Fire Breath can get you a Shadow Darumaka, evolve that into Shadow Darmanitan, that's the number 7 Fire type attacker in Pokemon Go. You can also get Shadow Tepig, which can evolve into Shadow Emboar, the number 8 Fire type attacker. These waters are treacherous. If it's a female, you can get Shadow Oshawott into Shadow Samurott, the number 8 Water type attacker, or Shadow Barboach into Shadow Wishcash, number 70 in the Great League. If it's the male version of the Water Grunt, Shadow Magikarp into Shadow Gyarados, that's the number 11 Water type attacker in Pokemon Go, and number 41 in the Open Master League. Get ready to be shocked. You can get Shadow Magnemite into Shadow Magnezone, the number 8 Electric type attacker in Pokemon Go. The Ice Grunt, you're going to be frozen in your tracks and get you Shadow Alolan Sandshrew into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. That's the number 55 Pokemon in the Open Great League and 66 in the Ultra League. Shadow Sneasel is also in there, which can evolve into Shadow Weavile, the number 3 Ice type attacker and number 8 Dark type attacker in Pokemon Go. This buff physique isn't just for show. Is the Grunt that is the Fighting Grunt. Get you a Shadow Mankey, evolve that into Shadow Primeape, the number 39 Pokemon in the Open Great League and 30 in the Open Ultra League. Shadow Mankey can also evolve into Shadow Annihilate, number 33 in the Open Great League, 54 in the Open Ultra League, and 48 in the Open Master League. Shadow Machop into Shadow Machoke, number 26 in the Open Great League. Shadow Machop into Shadow Machamp, number 63 in the Open Great League, 61 in the Ultra League, 99 in the Master League, and the number 8 Fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go. Also good to farm candies for Gigantamax Machamp coming later this season. Shadow Timber finally into Shadow Conkeldurr, the number 5 Fighting type attacker in Pokemon Go. Coiled and Ready to Strike is the Poison Grunt. Get you a Shadow Trubbish. That gets you 750 Stardust per catch, and good to grind candies for Gigantamax Garbodor in the future. Shadow Coughing's in there, which you can go ahead and catch and save in case we have the opportunity in the future to evolve that into a Shadow Galarian Weezing, which is number 16 in the Great League, 17 in the Open Ultra League. Shadow Croagunk evolves into Shadow Toxicroak, and that's the number 4 Poison type attacker in Pokemon Go. You'll Be Defeated into the Ground is the Ground Grunt and get you a Shadow Wooper. Shadow Quagsire is the number 41 in the Open Great League. Shadow Rhyhorn, which evolves into Shadow Rhyperior, the number 15 in the Open Master League, the number 1 Rock type attacker in Pokemon Go, and number 7 Ground type attacker. Shadow Drillbur into Shadow Excadrill, ranked at 98 in the Open Master League, 6 as a Ground type attacker and 4 as a Steel type attacker. Go My Super Bug Pokemon is the Bug Grunt. Get you a Shadow Scyther into Shadow Scizor, the number 7 Bug type attacker in Pokemon Go, number 16 Steel type attacker in Pokemon Go. We also have Shadow Carablast into Shadow Escavalier, the number 9 Bug type attacker in Pokemon Go. Let's Rock and Roll can get you a Shadow Roggenrola, evolve that into Shadow Gigalith for the number 5 Rock type attacker in Pokemon Go. Also a Shadow Cranidos into Shadow Rampardos, the number 4 Rock type attacker in Pokemon Go. We have the Kikiki Ghost Grunt, which can get you a Shadow Ghastly, evolve that into Shadow Gengar, and that's going to be the number 5 Ghost type attacker in Pokemon Go. Shadow Golett into Shadow Golurk, ranked 36 in the Open Great League, 49 in the Open Ultra League. Shadow Duskull evolves into Shadow Dusclops. Shadow Dusclops is the number 40 in the Open Great League. Shadow Duskull into Shadow Dusknoir, that's going to be the number 9 Pokemon in the Open Great League and 5 in the Open Ultra League. And then also you can catch Shadow Sableye, which is ranked number 6 in the Open Great League right now. Finally, we have the Dragon Grunt that says Roar. How does that sound? That can get you a Shadow Dratini, evolve that into Shadow Dragonite. That's the number 9 Dragon type attacker in Pokemon Go, ranked 121 in the Open Great League, 97 in the Open Ultra League, 28 in the Open Master League. Shadow Dragonair is going to be ranked 139 in the Open Great League. Shadow Bagon can be caught, which can evolve into Shadow Salamence, the number 6 Dragon type attacker in Pokemon Go, and ranked 108 in the Open Master League. And Shadow Gibble and Gabite, which can evolve into Shadow Garchomp, the number 8 Dragon type attacker, number 5 Ground type attacker, and ranked 104 in the Master League. Moving on, let's talk about the eggs. This is actually worth going after these 7-kilometer eggs. The issue with event eggs like this is that the 7-kilometer eggs come from gifts, which means you are capped on 20 gifts a day, 50 if you have the ticket. So you can't hatch as many as you want, but is it worth even attempting it? Well, Elekid is hatching from the eggs, which could evolve into Electivire, ranked 13 as the Electric type attacker in Pokemon Go. Not bad. Hatenna's in there, which evolves into Hatterene. This is the number 8 Fairy type attacker in Pokemon Go, and it does have a Gigantamax variant in the future, so it's a good opportunity, especially through the eggs, to grind candies for Hatenna. Charcadet's in there, which Charcadet can evolve into Armor Rouge and Ceruledge. Not very useful Pokemon, but they are rare Pokemon, and this is a very rare shiny as well. So if you do want to hunt more shiny Charcadets and you don't have this shiny yet, you can go after it. Finally, we have Tinkatink in there, which we already talked about how good this Pokemon is. And it's actually one of the only ways to get this Pokemon during this event. So if you want it in your decks this early, you know, it's going to come in the wild later, but still. As far as raid bosses, which one should we go after? Well, Blacephalon and Stakataka are going to be in raids still until April 21st. Blacephalon in the Western Hemisphere, Stakataka in the Eastern Hemisphere. Blacephalon is a good ghost and fire type attacker in Pokemon Go, so not bad to go after that Pokemon. But that will then switch into Cresselia starting April 21st at 10 a.m. Cresselia's 100% IV is 1633 non-weather boosted and 2041 weather boosted in windy weather. It is a psychic Pokemon making weak to bug, ghost, and dark type, and the top counters are going to be Dawnwings Acrozma, Mega Gengar, Mega Absol, Mega Tyranitar, Shadow Chandelure, Shadow Tyranitar, Mega Banette, Shadow Absol, Mega Rayquaza, Blacephalon, Shadow Weavile, Shadow Mewtwo, Mega Houndoom, Mega Pinsir, Mega Alakazam, Shadow Gengar, and Shadow Houndoom. Cresselia is ranked 102 in the Open Great League and ranked 29 in the Open Ultra League, so not a bad Pokemon to grab, especially for PvP. This thing has been a staple for a while. Quick tip for any of the raid bosses, try to raid them during the raid hour if you can. If you don't know when you catch a Pokemon during raid hour this season, you're getting guaranteed rare XL candy. So try and do Cresselia raid hour or Blacephalon or Stakataka raid hour. You'll get much more candies out of these Pokemon. Remember, you still only do get 5 remote raids every single day, so you can still remote raid for Stakataka if you're in the Western Hemisphere, like the opposite hemispheres. So take advantage of that, but also, yeah, try to raid these Pokemon during raid hour if you can. Every Wednesday, 6 to 7 p.m. is when raid hour is, by the way. As far as Mega Raids, we're gonna have Mega Sceptile until April 21st, 10 a.m. That Pokemon with Bullet Seed and Frenzy Plant is the #1 grass type attacker in Pokemon Go, so make sure you grab it, and that will then switch in on April 21st, 10 a.m. to Mega Mawile. Not a very useful Pokemon at all, unless you need it for the decks, really. That's the only reason I'd go after it. As far as Max Battle Boss is the best ones to go after. During the event, we'll see Dynamax Machop, Dynamax Passimian, and Dynamax Phalanx all spawning at power spots. Gigantamax Snorlax Max Battle Day is happening this weekend, April 19th from 2 to 5 p.m. at your local time. So really, you actually do want to start prepping for that. And you can do that by battling Dynamax Machop. Dynamax Machamp is the #1 max attacker you can use against Gigantamax Snorlax. Compared to Passimian and Phalanx, it's just going to be the better Pokemon. And it's also just going to be cheaper to power up, upgrade its moves, all that stuff. And Machamp is a free evolution Pokemon. So if you actually receive a Machop from trade, you can evolve it all the way to Machop for 25 candies, but then to Machamp for free. Also good opportunity to grind candies for Gigantamax Machamp, which will probably come later this season or this year. So overall, take them on so you're ready for this weekend and you have those Pokemon powered up and their max move upgraded. Now you need 35 Platinum medals go from level 48 to 49 in Pokemon Go. Which one should we work on during the event? Of course, the first medals we can work on is just all these type medals. Gardener medal, you can catch those Sprigatitos. You can work on the Kindler by catching Fuecocos. If there's any Pokemon, or sorry, any medal here that you haven't completed, find that spawn type in the wild and catch it. We can also work on our Pikachu fan medal, catch 1,000 Pikachus. Of course, the Captain's Hat Pikachus are back, so catch those when you can. And if you don't know, if you receive a Pikachu from trade, it does count towards this medal. So you can trade your Captain's Hat Pikachus, mirror trade them with friends to work on that medal. We do have half egg incubator distance, so the breeder medal, hatch 2,500 eggs, is a good medal to work on, especially if instead of going after the 7Ks, you go after the 2Ks, because that's going to be 1 kilometer per hatch, and you can get a bunch of these. That's technically only like 250. That's still a lot of kilometers to walk. But anyway, this will in turn obviously work on your jogger medal, explore 10,000 kilometers. And same thing with your backpacker medal, visit 50,000 Pokestops by spinning all this stuff. Now, it's always recommended to attend community ambassador meetups, and we will talk about those a little bit further in this video, but check out community ambassador meetup on 100 different days. Go work on your community member medal. Always be working on this. Always go to these meetups. And there's a really big reason on why you want to do it during this event. If you do go to these meetups, or if you're just playing this event, remember to always party up with your friends. You can work on your life of the party medal, complete 200 party challenges. It's always just best to be party up with your friends when you're taking on events. The Rising Star medal, defeat 150 species of Pokemon in raids. If there's any Pokemon you see that you've never raided for during this event, go ahead and take them on in raids. Same thing, go ahead and take on raids with a friend. You can work on your Rising Star Duo medal, win 2,000 raids with a friend. And finally, Paldea medal. Register 103 Pokemon from the Paldea region. We do have 3 new coming during this event, so you can work on this medal. Now, it's always recommended to Mega Evolve the correct Pokemon, so you get more candies, XP, and XL candy for catching Pokemon that share a type with the Mega. Which Mega should we Mega Evolve during this event? First of all, Primal Groudon will get you more candies for Quagsire, Slugma, Sprigatito, Florigato, and Fuecoco. Primal Kyogre will hit Quagsire, Shuckle, Quaxly, Pwami, and Pikachu. And Mega Bombsnow will hit Snorunt, Sprigatito, and Florigato. So those are your 3 options depending on what Pokemon you want more candies for and you're low on candies for. Also, every time you trade away a Pokemon this season, you're guaranteed an XL candy. Very good to go ahead and trade Pokemon during this season. And it's a good opportunity to re-roll IVs for better IVs on Pokemon, because if you don't know, IVs change when you trade away a Pokemon. So like you could end up mirror trading Quagsires and they both become hundos. And again, I'm gonna remind you, try to play the raid hour events. You're getting a guaranteed rare XL candy anytime you catch a Pokemon during a raid hour. Also, go into the advanced section of your settings and download all assets. I do this every week. It's gonna download all assets to your phone, make it for a much smoother gameplay experience because your game is pulling assets off your phone, not the internet. You can also go ahead and activate native refresh rate then, which will use your phone's native refresh rate, making for a much smoother gameplay experience. Do note this does take a bit more battery. Setting a buddy that's also the great buddy level is very, very effective because this will give you access to the buddy bounce back trick. So if you end up missing any throws, your buddy can sometimes bounce back the ball. Also, when you are doing a bunch of raids or just catching Pokemon, it's always vital to activate the Iceburn Adventure effect from White Kyurem. This is going to give you a 1.5 times catch multiplier. And it's also going to slow down that circle when you're throwing Pokeballs. Mainly for that catch multiplier, especially when you're playing raid hours, catching legendaries or ultra beasts or whatever, just super annoying to do. So having that 1.5 times catch multiplier is going to make for a much better time when playing raid hour. It lets you do more raids because you can catch Pokemon quicker and you can move on to the next raid quicker. Also, start maxing out Pokemon. So many times my max particle storage is full, and the best way to do this instead of doing max battles is to invest and start prepping into your Dynamax Pokemon. For example, we do have Dynamax Raikou and Entei that have already dropped, so Suicune is next up. So if you want to take on Dynamax Suicune, you can start powering up and upgrading your max moves for Gigantamax Toxtricity, Gigantamax Venusaur, or Dynamax Raikou. Leveling up their max attack or unlocking more max moves is amazing. You can also go ahead and upgrade your Gigantamax Blastoise, Dynamax Blastoise, or Gigantamax Laprases. These are going to be good tank Pokemon. Unlocking max Spirit on these Pokemon can be very useful against Dynamax Suicune. Also, Gigantamax Machamp might come in the future, so upgrading your Dynamax Metagrosses, Dynamax Moltres, and Dynamax Unpheasants can get you prepared for that Pokemon. If you want more tank Pokemon for Gigantamax Machamp, Dynamax Venusaur, Gigantamax Gengar, or Dynamax Gengar are good options to go ahead and unlock max Spirit on and start powering them up. Very important to just be ready for those Pokemon. Now, April 21st, Max Monday, is Dynamax Sobble. And Gigantamax Inteleon is a Pokemon that could come to the game in the future. So playing this Max Monday might not be a bad idea. A good opportunity to grind candies for Sobble, potentially get good IV Sobbles in case we can change our Dynamaxes into Gigantamaxes in the future. And overall, you can start powering these up as well if you want to use them on Dynamax Entei Max Battle Day. This is also a good opportunity to attend Community Ambassador meetups. Let me explain. If you go on Campfire, you sort by meetups and you look for Community Ambassador hosted meetups with the rewards tab. When you attend different events, you're going to get a free timed research that will get you some free items. If you attend one on Max Monday for Sobble, you will get a timed research that will get you 800 max particles. This can be very useful to put those max particles into powering up Pokemon or use them to battle new Dynamax Pokemon. You can even save them to use on Gigantamax Snorlax this weekend. Also, during Max Mondays, you can go ahead and drop Pokemon into power spots. This means anytime anyone takes on a battle at that power spot, you're going to get candy for the Pokemon you left in there. This is great by leaving legendary Pokemon, Toxtricity, Lapras, things that are hard to get candies for, can make a good passive way to grind candies. Also, when you do attend these Community Ambassador meetups, when you're in a party and you're checked in at these meetups, you're going to get 25% less egg incubator distance. This is amazing if you're going to be hatching those 7-kilometer eggs or any eggs during this event because it does stack with the half egg incubator distance. So 7-kilometer eggs becomes 2.63 kilometers. Also, if you attend a Spotlight Hour meetup and you check in, you will get a free super incubator through the timed research. And if you attend a raid hour on April 16th and you check into the Community Ambassador meetup, you'll get a free raid pass. Don't sleep on that. Switching back to Spotlight Hour, do not miss next week's Spotlight Hour. It is Morlull, and that Pokemon normally gets you 500 Stardust per catch. And the bonus is 2 times catch Stardust, meaning every Morlull you catch is gonna get you a base of 1,000 Stardust. If you have a star piece, that's 1,500 Stardust, even more if you are playing in sunny or cloudy weather when Morlull is weather boosted. This is a great time to grind Stardust, especially because GoFest is in 6 weeks. So prepping Pokemon so you can get Stardust to power up Pokemon for GoFest. Any new Pokemon you catch, you always want Stardust. It's one of the most valuable things in Pokemon Go, so do not miss that Spotlight Hour. Also, anytime you're opening gifts during this event, to go ahead and collect 7-kilometer eggs. Remember to pin and unpin your gifts. This can get you encounters with Scatterbug, which is one of the rarest shinies, in Pokemon Go. You always want to be pinning and unpinning gifts so you can get more encounters for that Pokemon. Those shinies are going to be especially useful during GoFest this season to trade away. Final thing I'll say, anyone working on the Dazzling Area Masterwork research for Shiny Meloetta, here are some tips to complete it easier during this event. Page 1, you need to catch Pokemon from the first 5 generations. The Johto region has Quagsire, Shuckle, and Slugma spawning, and the Hoenn region has Nosepass and Snorunt if you're stuck on those. Page 3, you need to get the Bronze Showcase Star Medal. Showcases are happening from Monday to Tuesday and Saturday to Sunday, so you can go ahead and drop into showcases, try to win those. Always best to drop into showcases outside the city or in less busy areas. You're gonna have a higher odds to win. You also do get premium items if you come in the top 3 or if you win, so really good to drop into those. Finally, page 4 has the Platinum Idol Medal, which requires you have 20 best friends, so go ahead and make sure you're getting best friends, but also catch 100 Pokemon while in a party. This can be very, very easily done during an in-person meetup that we talked about. So go to those meetups, party with your friends, and you can work on that page 4 of the Masterwork research. Watch the other 2 videos on screen if you enjoyed this one. You guys will enjoy those ones as well. Good luck during this little collaboration event and try to get that super rare shiny Pikachu. Fall for tips. Peace.